Well, we have lots of fun things to
Oh, hell yeah.
discuss
I'm gonna
this
pop up
morning.
that, I guess, morning for you, my love. Not for me. I mean, technically, yes,
Technically, but not technically.
but not technically. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it gets a little confusing, but it's fine.
It's fine.
By the way, if the stream will probably hear it more so than you guys because my mic is like actively open. But the little farmer guy is outside and I have the window open for the cat. So if you hear weird noises every now and then, it's just the farmer guy doing his thing.
Oh, yeah. I guess at a certain point, somebody is gonna come and replace my key, my lock as well.
Nice.
So that might happen.
Cool.
You guys
The
might be hearing
stream
on my
of
side as well.
distraction. It's fine.
Random
Chaos.
chaos.
We're going to
Chaos.
embrace it and go with it.
Yeah, we're gonna deal with it.
All right, at least I don't have crazy cat chaos today.
Why did you even say anything?
I was telling the guys that the other day she actually did attack him and like he has 3 spots on his head where he got cut. So that's why he was freaking out, I think, cuz she actually did scratch him up. So hey, how are you? It's so good to see you that you're back to join the conversation for today. How are you doing today? I'm doing pretty good. Was super tired when I woke up, but I always get a lot of energy when we start this. The kitties are the best part. They are the best part. I'm sure Took will come and sit on his throne at some point. He always does. You're good? I'm glad to hear it. I do believe we have your question that we'll get to eventually.
Oh yeah, I have a few questions today.
So wait.
Oh.
So let's start it off with talking about our favorite moment because I always want to start with the highs.
Yeah.
And obviously, anybody in chat, feel free to answer these questions along with us so that we can learn about what your favorite moments were, or the moments you were the most worried about, or whatever, or most surprised by. We'll get to all those moments. But first, we're going to start with our favorite moment. And we're going to start with Mimsy. You've been voluntold.
Oh my lord.
Voluntold.
Oh lord.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Favorite moment.
Hey Jess, nice to see ya.
I'm trying to think like. Favorite moment. I think it was revealing the NPCs, digging it a little bit deeper on the NPCs' backstory.
Okay. Yeah, we did learn, like I was saying to you guys after we ended the stream, I was saying this was we learned a lot about Lindsay. It was like kind of subtle, but we did get a lot of her backstory. I thought I listened. Nope, we just started, Jess. You're good to go. Favorite big guy in the basement. I really wanted to give him a cookie or a bone. I wasn't sure which. He probably would have taken either. Our little big guy's inner wolf. That was your favorite moment. It was him getting locked up.
Basement.
Poor little Sparta. But yeah,
It won't let me out.
we did learn quite a few things about some of our NPCs, and especially in particular Lindsay. There was some stuff revealed about her, like the fact that Catalina is her grandmother. That was a pretty big reveal because everybody was kind of wondering, is Lindsay related to Catalina in any way? But nobody had asked.
No, I thought Catalina was her mama, so like there's just another link in between.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll get to her. Don't you worry. We'll learn who Lindsay's mama is later. She hasn't been revealed yet. Um,
Spicy.
could you imagine being the child of Catalina? Serendips, hey, I'm sorry you're having a
What's up,
tough day.
Serendips? Aw,
I hope that we can bring a smile
big,
to your face.
big hugs.
Hey, Serendips.
Okay, so Fenice, what was your favorite moment?
I think my favorite. Well, wait, did Memzi answer?
Yeah, he said learning about
Oh,
the
yeah, the
NPCs.
I don't know. That episode was just so good through and through. I was just like so shook the entire fucking time. Like,
Yeah,
I
it's hard to
just.
pick.
It's hard to pick because it's like, what is it? Like, my favorite moment. I guess, like, yeah, my favorite moment would be like unveiling a little bit of the gossip and stuff. And like, I guess also, I really like the moment at the end where, for the first time, I was gonna say something, but then he wouldn't be in character. That was the player. But the first time, Alejandro was actually comforting Eden at the end, and I was like, "Wait,
Yep.
it's happening!
How the tables have turned.
It's happening! He's actually comforting her." He didn't want to give her a hug. She was sad. She actually cried. She continued crying afterwards.
Yeah.
but-
Oh,
Colette's like, all
I'm
right, I
not-
got
Got
you.
She got it from Colette, so she's fine. She just needed to hug somebody. Okay, she's still human. She just needed a little bit of comfort. Alejandro, allora.
Alejandro's like, no, that's
I
a
think that
hard
was
no
actually
for me.
I was like, okay, I comforted you, but that's plenty, okay? Like,
You gotten your dosage
yeah,
today.
get the fuck,
Get the hell out of here.
get the fuck out of here. Go hug a tree. No, me, no, I don't do that. Okay.
Yeah,
6
that
foot
was pretty
bottle.
funny.
But yeah, I think that was my favorite moment because then like everything else is like shocking and shit. It was like
There was a lot of
so sad.
shocking things that
Mhm.
happened in that episode, that's for sure. Okay, what about you, Steve?
Oh, it's so hard. Just because there would be too much overlap with some of the other moments. I would say like the whole seance group thing, that it was cute and just kind of funny.
Harmless fun.
yeah,
It was like
that was
we were Scooby Doo in the
definitely
graveyard.
They weren't trying to hurt anybody. Like, they just wanted to talk to their little ghost friend. You guys were like ready to kill them all. They're just
And we're
like,
you know what? Have a good night.
we're gonna go and leave you guys or whatever the fuck you guys are doing. Bye.
Rebecca, you better not fucking come find me, okay? Because you know my name now. Bye.
I loved that. I was like, I'm totally gonna have her call Nyx by her name, and they're all gonna be like, how did she know my
What
name?
the fuck?
She's a fucking ghost. She knew that you guys were hiding. Why wouldn't she know your name? She probably was staring at you the whole time before she revealed herself. Like, look at these fucking idiots.
Yeah, look at these fucking idiots like throwing rocks and shit. What the fuck? Let me do it.
Yeah, I can throw a rock too. You're so cool.
Right.
Totally,
Scooby Doo moment for sure.
totally
Yeah,
mocking you guys the entire
Yeah.
time.
The entire time.
Yeah, I gotta say that I think that probably was one of my favorite moments, because it was, for the first time, you guys got to experience something as a group that wasn't a threat.
Well,
So
It was just strange as fuck.
yeah, it was just weird, but it also made it known that ghosts are a part of our campaign.
I love that.
True.
So Rebecca might make another appearance. You
Oh,
never
hell
know.
Listen,
she
at
might come
least
hang
I
out.
was now nice with Rebecca, okay? I was trying to make friends.
Me and Nyx were the only ones that went up there and talked to her, so we're
Well,
on her good
exactly.
side.
Colette like revealed that she was there. She like stepped out, but she was not going anywhere near the ghost. She was not feeling it.
Yeah, no, Colette was not feeling the fucking ghost for sure.
No. Not a threat debate. Yeah, I mean, it is debatable. If Rebecca wanted to be a threat, she could have been a threat. But that was like the first situation that you guys were put in to where it actually wasn't somebody trying to hurt you or target you or do something
True.
against your group or like cause some issue for you. It was literally just a group of people that are talking to the dead. Like, that's all it was.
I wonder how different it would have gone if when I stealthed up to him, if I had decided to actually go talk to him rather than just walk away. I actually rolled a dice to see what I would do.
Nice.
And I passed and decided to walk away. But if I had failed, I was going to go right up to him and talk to him.
Yeah, that's the thing about like role play is like one decision could have been different and the whole situation could have ended differently.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I think that was probably my favorite. And then I do think that like revealing little things about the NPCs, just because like these characters are characters that I know and love, but I like am slowly showing them to you guys when it makes sense to do it. So the more that you guys can learn about like all of the characters that I've spent the time developing, that's fun for me. Like that's always going to be fun for me as the storyteller to do that. Then of course Catalina, I love Catalina. So anytime Catalina can come out, I'm like, hey, motherfuckers.
I used to love playing my prince too. My Prince Edmund. He was
some
really
badass energy right there.
It was actually really nice.
See, Catalina's nice, but you guys don't know that about her yet. You don't know anything about her except for fucking scary. So,
like when she yelled at Nix and me, she just leave.
Yeah.
And we're both just like, deuces.
Get out of here. Or whatever she said. She's like, get out of my face, you fucking peasants. She's like, okay. No, yep.
There was no argument.
100%. Not even going to blink about it.
You would totally run up to Catalina and bop her on the nose. That would be interesting to see.
Yeah, she wouldn't even let you do that. She would probably just like break you into like immediately. 600-year-old vampire that is not easily amusable. Yeah.
No. But yeah, I love Catalina. So like I said, anytime I get to bring Catalina out, I'm like, it's going to be a good time. I'm going to enjoy this. But yeah, so I think that covers everybody's favorite moments of the episode. How many questions do we have? A few, you said?
We have a few questions, but we can like start like by doing our usual shebangs. It's like, what is it? What do we talk about? The most like shocking moments, our favorite moments, and usually like when we were really scared that some shit was gonna go down.
Right.
We usually always talk about those, and then we have.
Well, if we have,
I think this is the first time we have questions.
A couple of questions. We could answer one and then hop into.
Yes.
Oh yeah, 5. Okay, yeah. Let's answer one of the questions. You can pick.
Well, I mean, I put 3 from the discussion after the
That's
thing.
fine. If you want to pick one of your 3, if like I want to make sure that whoever submitted the question is here.
No, well, Aslin's is here. So, the first question was, I'm curious if werewolves are in this. Are the fairies also? So all RPGs can be played as one. Well, I mean, in the sense probably like the World of Darkness has all these sub groups of magical beings that are covered by other editions and like other like things. Is Werewolf the Apocalypse, the Changeling, Mage, whatever.
Right.
And so forth.
There are multiple versions depending on what supernatural being they're focusing on for that campaign.
Yes.
So to answer that question, werewolves do exist in our world. We have already established that Steve, aka Sparta, used to be a werewolf hunter. So we knew that werewolves were going to be involved. They haven't popped up yet. I'm sure there'll probably be something spicy in the future that comes up when it comes to werewolves. We'll see. So we know that werewolves exist, and then now we know that ghosts exist, which I don't know what do they have ghosts? I know they call them wraths usually. I don't know if they have
wraith?
I don't know if they have like an actual
Yeah.
campaign for
They do
for
have
that.
wraiths.
Okay.
The whatever it's wraiths, I don't know, the Unforsaken.
I don't
or
know all
some
of them.
shit like that. Then they have mage. They have
The fairies,
it's the changeling is the fairy one.
changelings.
Ghost one would be fun. You could play Ghost Pirates.
It's the wraith. The wraiths, I think there are. I can like look.
Yeah,
it up, but they have a bunch.
I remember reading about them. So we do know that ghosts exist, but those are the only two supernatural beings that have been revealed in our city. None of the other supernatural beings that exist in the world of darkness.
Yeah, Wraith the Oblivion and Changeling the Dreaming.
Got it. So yeah, so those are the only ones that have been revealed in character. And we probably won't reveal anything out of character because it's
there's
more
demons,
of a
mummies.
surprise to our cast. If they don't know what's coming, then it's more fun for them to be like, holy shit, I didn't know that was going to be a thing. So we'll see. We'll see what other supernatural beings pop up throughout our time and throughout our campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Vampire the Masquerade, Werewolf the Apocalypse, Mage the Ascension, Wraith the Oblivion, Changeling the Dreaming, Hunter the Reckoning, Demon the Falling. And then they implemented Mummy the Curse. So there's mummies too, if you want to put some mummies in there, Jenna.
I don't think mummies are going to be a thing.
You know.
We'll be your
bring
mummy.
Bring in the ministry, which was the Setites.
Yeah.
And then like have them like have some mummies with them, you know, just for shits and giggles.
Like these are our pets.
These are our like, you know, they do our chores and shit. It takes care of
fucking
that.
mummies walking around.
That would make an amazing comedy one shot.
Yes. Oh, speaking of one shot, I have some news. I've been debating if I wanted to announce it yet or wait, but I'm gonna talk about it at the end of the show. For a hot moment, I thought the corpse.
A mental note in there.
Oh,
ask Jenna.
Okay.
No,
go. You can.
You have it.
I've got my own mental note, but you can write a mental note because I know your mental notes aren't that reliable. You can't whatever we're like, oh no, you go ahead. You're like, no, you, and then I'm like, she's not gonna remember. So
I'm definitely not gonna remember. I don't remember shit. Do you remember that I have ADHD? I think one thing and then like a split second after I have 3 thoughts already like piled up behind.
Yeah, I've learned.
So big reveal.
I thought the corpses would have been the rotting vampires. Ooh. Plot twist. They're just a bunch of rotting vampires in torpor. Do their bodies rot when they're in torpor, or do they just stay?
No, they just like desiccate almost. They're just like mummies. They look like mummies because they have no blood.
Got it. True. Interesting. Anyway.
They're like...
But the smell,
stillness of like pretty much like a step between death and, you know, being again. If they feed to like wake up, I think I'm pretty sure like still in this book, like to wake up a torpor,
you have to give them blood.
You need to give them blood.
Yeah. I do know that because I remember from LA by Night. They talked about it.
Yeah.
A lot of what I've learned is from watching LA by Night. I mean, I read a shit ton.
Especially for the new V5.
Yeah, I mean,
V5.
Trust me, I've pretty much read this 400 some page book cover to cover. So, and there's lots of notes. There's a whole notebook dedicated for notes for this campaign. So, I really nerdified it up with the studying. I went full ham nerd mode. But there obviously is still lots for me to learn. I tried to learn as much as I could before we started. I feel like I did a pretty good job.
Yes,
I would
you
think
are.
So, because for those of you who don't know, this is my first time storytelling, and this is my first time ever even playing this campaign, like Vampire the Masquerade. So, what do you say? It was about a month before we started?
Yeah,
roughly,
maybe
like 3 weeks, something like that.
5 weeks.
Was it
before.
more? Okay.
Yeah, because like you took a while, rightfully so that you could find and like organize that one shot.
Oh
thing,
yeah, true.
And then
that's right.
2 weeks after we did the one shot, we started.
That's right.
So about like 5 weeks, I would say, but that's not that long, guys. That is not that long.
Definitely not.
That one shot was long.
Yeah,
that one shot was 12 hours.
One shot was double what I thought it would be for us. I thought we would end in like 4 hours.
But it was a trial run.
It was fun. I enjoyed it. It was just long as fuck. But we did like a little one shot thingy bob. Anywho, let's hop into our next discussion. What was the most shocking moment? If you can pick one shocking moment.
I mean, honestly, the one that
Start
I was
to finish?
the most shook, and I think everybody will like agree, it's the very end when like Sparta gets taken out, because again, like I was there and like Catalina was like fucking like looking through Nyx's
staring
soul,
in his
and I was like, okay,
her soul.
I'm gonna go in jail. I'm gonna go to vampire jail.
Vampire
and
jail.
that is gonna be it. And great, like it got turned into a vampire. I am here, and I'm gonna go to the vampire jail. Perfect.
Wonderful.
And then like they fucking take away Lev and Sparta, and I'm like, what? Yeah, I think that was definitely the moment where I was like the most bamboozled, for sure.
Rightfully
But there
so.
were so many moments during that.
There were quite a few shocking moments, I think.
Yeah.
Because of his clan. Exactly, yeah.
I mean, a player was surprised. Character wasn't really that surprised. He's like, okay, Camarilla's doing their shit again.
It's like, I'm not impressed.
I'm not impressed about this shit.
Yeah, they're continuing this same old shit. They're as predictable as wrestling.
It's so funny that you dog the Camarilla so much, though, because LA by Night's campaign is an anarch, and they would have done the same thing. Tell me that Baron Temple would not have thrown those people into a prison as soon as he fucking could have. So anarchs are not any better. Like,
yeah, exactly.
they try to dog Camarilla cities and be like, oh, those ivory tower, they're and I'm just like, bitches, you do the same fucking thing they do.
Yeah.
Like, you are no better. I think that almost every single episode when I'm watching and they start complaining about the ivory tower, and I'm just like, really? You guys aren't any better. Stop thinking you're better. You're not better. Baron Temple. Like, undisputed
Exactly.
Baron
You're
of the
Baron.
Valley. Like,
Oh my god, yeah. Dude, seriously, his fucking character sometimes.
he's so
But-
fucking full of himself. Such a Ventru.
That was, I think, Sparta's prison was probably the most shocking.
Yeah.
Nyx was totally gonna cry. Yeah, Nyx was all up in her feels
Oh,
about
Nyx
what was
cried.
going on.
Nyx cried. Phoenicia cried for Nyx.
Just go roll up a paper and smack him on the nose and tell him no.
Sparta did not hit the button this time. This was not my fault.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, Sparta's like, but I didn't fuck up this time.
And he was so nice. He was like talking about the prince so nice, and I'm like, why are they taking him?
I love how Nyx was like, it's not fair. Colette's like,
Right?
And Colette is like,
you really think they fucking care about being
Welcome.
fair? Cute.
well, cute. There's no such a thing as fair in this society.
It's not
okay?
kindergarten.
Prepare.
Everybody doesn't get a trophy, sweetheart.
Prepare.
You better fucking level up and level up quick.
Right?
Get with the program. All right, what about you, Sparta or Steve? What was your most shocking moment?
The end didn't shock me too much. I knew something had to be coming. I was a little surprised when they came for me and not her.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wasn't really expecting that, but definitely the most shocking moment was when you said I looked up at it and saw the name Doran.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I went through, my jaw immediately hit the floor. I was like, oh,
I
shit.
remember because of the people that knew about this character. Only Sparta, only Steve's character knew about this Doran, and obviously Jenna, because Jenna knows she created Doran. But of us, that is the only player and character that knew about the whole story.
Yeah.
So like, I was like, what the fuck is Doran?
Yeah, like their confusion was legitimate confusion because they didn't know who Doran was out of character. They learned who he was in character. The only one that had any out of character knowledge of him was Steve because of Steve's backstory and what he would know.
Shocked me.
Yeah, I knew it would.
Like,
I was like,
I
can't
couldn't
wait.
think for a second. I was like, oh shit, this isn't good. This is not good.
Steve already was like, well, I'm gonna be fucked here, am I? Am I not? Yes, you are. Yes,
Yeah.
you are.
I knew that I was going to tie Doran into all of this. I just didn't know how it was going to happen. So, yeah, as soon as all of this started to unfold, I was like, I have an idea. I have a really dramatic idea.
It was. I was
Love
not
the
expecting
drama.
that at all. It rocked me. I was speechless for a couple seconds. I was like, what? Oh shit.
Everyone's eyebrows went up so high. I loved it. Yeah. I think that it was funny too how everyone reacted when Catalina showed up at the graveyard or at the cemetery. And because I don't think you guys were expecting her to show up there.
No.
Like all of your faces, like whenever I was like, you feel that similar feeling, that familiar feeling, you all were like,
oh no.
Oh fuck, Catalina's here.
Oh no. Oh no.
Please don't hurt us.
All I have to do is talk about her fucking feeling, and it's like you guys have PTSD. It's like you've experienced it in real life. You're like, oh god, where is she?
I don't want to be anywhere.
She's here
around
somewhere.
this shit.
And you can understand a bit why Catalina is moody. Catalina's been through a lot. I mean, when you live 600 years, you're bound to go through a lot of shit. So, yeah, she's pretty fucking moody. Like I was saying to everybody after we ended the stream, like if I was 600 years old, I wouldn't have patience for anything either.
Oh, me neither. I'm 33 and I'm like,
I'm
ain't
struggling
got patience for this shit.
So yeah, I don't blame Catalina for being a little fucking moody here and there. You do you, boo. You've earned the right to be fucking pissed off at.
You can do
the
whatever
world.
the fuck you want. If you've been alive for 600 years, you've been doing it right. Because you're still around.
Very true. You are
And you are a
alive.
fucking prince. You're not in torpor somewhere under the ground.
Like a lot of
You
the older
are
vampires.
like a lot of older vampires,
Yep.
older generation vampires. Like you are ruling a city. You've been alive most of the time. We were a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
Like hell yeah.
She's doing something right.
She is definitely doing something right.
So yeah. All
Especially
hail
being
Prince
alive
Catalina.
after the Gehenna and the war and the vampire war and shit. And she's still there.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's funny because a lot of older vampires, once they get to a certain age, they kind of retreat and go into torpor, and they don't keep living. Like, it's like they've seen so much, they've experienced so much, they're like, I can't
They
fucking
just
do
take
this
breaks.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They take breaks.
Like, I gotta fucking, let me go sleep for like 200 years. And I'll wake up again. But yeah, so the fact that she's still alive and kicking it and running a city and being badass, then yeah, you go, girl. I'm living for it.
But Jenna, what was your most shocking moment? Or I know you can't base it off the story, but say somebody's reaction to something, or
I think probably the most shocking, I don't know, shocking is the right word, but like, I guess surprising to me, or what could have like caught me off guard, was Alejandro kind of opening up to Nyx in the way that he did, because I kind of assumed that eventually that would happen, but I wasn't expecting that to happen so early in the campaign, for him to like kind of like soften up to her. I was expecting them to like really hate each other for a long period of time before that started to happen.
No, I don't think we're still we're friends.
Well, no,
yet,
I don't think they're
at
friends,
all,
but I wasn't expecting him to even do that kind of stuff, like care at all. Because it shows that there's obviously a level of care, otherwise he wouldn't say that stuff.
I think
True.
He wouldn't take the time to invest. So
I'm
that's
like, oh, he's starting to like Nick, even though he doesn't want to admit it. I'm
yeah. So that's what was like kind of surprising to me, is I wasn't expecting that to happen. At least for like a long while. I thought that Colette would be the one like more investing in Nyx and things like that.
that is true. It took me by surprise too.
Yeah, so that would be one, I think, shocking. I don't know if it was shocking, but like, you know, it kind of surprised me.
Mia, what are you doing?
I'm hyper, Mom. She was playing with something a minute ago on the floor. Look how cute she is. Little princess. She's so cute.
Sorry. But she's like playing with like
Playing.
a cap or something and like smacking it around and like she had it in her mouth and it looked like she had like a tongue, a white tongue. Like, what the fuck is that?
She's so cute.
Sorry, guys. Anyway.
But yeah, that was my surprising moment, I guess you could say. Who hasn't went for shocking?
I think everybody has.
all of us.
Okay, I couldn't remember if everyone.
Yeah, I think you were the last one that didn't.
Yeah.
That hadn't.
Yeah.
Express your opinion.
It's my opinion. Oh, I love that clip.
I love that clip. It's so iconic. It's so iconic.
It's my opinion.
I know a few people that get like that for voicing their opinion.
I sometimes get like that when I voice my opinion because people
Same.
don't understand that it's just my opinion.
My
That
opinion.
it doesn't mean that it's like absolute truth.
Or it doesn't mean that it
that's,
has to threaten your opinion. It's just
Exactly.
my opinion.
Exactly. I
Let
get
it be
like that when
mine.
exactly. I get like that when people are confrontational like that.
Yeah,
Like, let me
same.
have my opinion. Like, you can have yours. We don't need to agree. We
Yeah.
can agree to disagree. Look at that. Adult behavior. Wow.
What? No.
I've had to do that in an argument. Say we're just gonna have to agree to disagree
Yeah.
and step away.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I try not to have very many serious conversations unless I know the person and I know that they're going to respect my opinions and thoughts and feelings and things like that. If I feel like somebody won't, I won't even spend the time talking to you because I'm just going to get mad. And mad Jenna is not very fun. So, for me or for you. I can
we get another
promise.
question?
Yeah, let's
Oh.
read another question.
Okay, there was like a very like fast question, and maybe we'll find out, but it was like the one that I had like read when we were after the session, but it was another one from
Mm-hmm.
Aslin, and they asked, is anybody going to give Nyx the Book of Nod?
So I wanted to talk about that because the Book of Nod is not something that is freely given out. It also in the Camarilla is
No, it's not, even because
you
it's
are
Sabbat.
persecuted if you are found reading or discussing or
The
having
Book of Nod.
or
Yeah.
anything. It is
It's
so
a Sabbat thing. It like
yeah.
the Sabbat literally uses it as like the 10 Commandments or some
right.
shit.
So
So it's not something that it's easily available,
Right.
but it exists.
It
Obviously,
exists.
we have seen that nobody has been telling Nyx really much anyway.
yeah.
So
I mean, and she's
it kinda
flat
makes
out
sense.
asked old vampires like Ronaldo, who's 300 some years old, is there like a book? And he's like, no, because this is a very Camarilla city, in case you haven't noticed. And it says here, the Camarilla has a policy of denouncing Nodist lore and persecuting those who spread it. Any found pieces of the Book of Nod are similar texts are either destroyed or quietly stashed away to be studied by the sect's leaders. Nevertheless, the Book of Nod continues to be sought by many kindred in the belief that it holds truths of oh my god, I can't say that word.
Empirical?
Yeah, nature and prophecies of the future. So if that book did exist and somebody had access to it in this city, it would only be high leadership in the Camarilla, and they would be the only ones that have access to it. No one else would have access to that information.
It doesn't matter, Aslins. Malkavians don't necessarily have the Book of Nod, especially if they're in the Camarilla, like I said.
Yeah. They're not going to have access to that in this city. If it was a different city and like run by different people,
Anarch City or some shit where they don't really care, or like
then maybe. But this city is very true to its core when it comes to Camarilla. Like they enforce all 6 of the traditions in the city. Like it's very, very Camarilla. And considering that that's the lore of how Camarilla responds to something like the Book of Nod, then no one's going to have that in this city. If they do have it, it is a secret that they have it. They're not just going to like freely give that to somebody and talk about
We got
it.
the book.
Yeah, like that's not going to happen.
Man.
I got this library card. Let me check it out.
Yeah, like that's not gonna happen here. So like I said,
after we talked, I remember that there was the Book of Nod, and I do remember that it was something like followed religiously by the Sabbat clan, like by the Sabbat sect.
Yeah.
But I didn't remember how, because in the Camarilla, all the Chronicles of Camarilla that I played, and the one that I never used the Book of Nod as a reference or like as being part of it. So I also went and looked for it, and I was like, yeah, it's Sabbat. Like it's something that the Sabbat would have and would be like, oh yeah, you need it, here you go, like please
Yeah,
follow it.
learn
But
it.
like
Yeah.
in this context, no. Just curious. Oh, that's probably
Yeah.
just like the lore of that campaign.
Right. I mean, you got to remember every campaign is different. You know, that's the beauty of the World of Darkness.
And I mean, I guess yeah, it makes sense that like maybe in a Camarilla city, a Malkavian would, they are unpredictable. So like you never know what the fuck is happening in their mind. So like it kind of makes sense for me that if there was a Camarilla led by a Malkavian, I can see how she would have it for funsies.
Go for it.
But
yeah, so that's like one thing to remember though, is just because you see something happening in one campaign doesn't mean that that has to happen or will happen in every campaign. Every campaign is different. Every storyteller makes their own rules for how they're going to do things, for what's allowed and what's not allowed, for what exists and what doesn't exist. Obviously, the lore is there, and that is history that storytellers draw from. But anything... So the one thing that you can expect for our city is, because honestly, to be honest with you, I didn't know that existed. I truly didn't. Because like I said, I'm brand new to this. I am like 2.5 months into still learning about this whole world and history and lore and 20 some years of history from this game. So I didn't know it existed. Arwen, I will kill you. Stop it. I saw the curtain moving inside of my eye. So when it was mentioned, I went and looked it up, and I was reading all about it because I was like, oh, well, if there is a book, I'll be more than happy to like introduce it. I'll figure out a fun way to introduce it. And then whenever I found the bit about how the Camarilla handles this particular thing, and then I was like, oh, okay, well then that's what I'm going to follow, because I already have an idea of how our city is and how our Camarilla leaders are. So that's what I try to look for whenever I'm trying to implement anything, any history or any lore. Then I always look, oh, okay, how does the Camarilla interact with this? How do they deal with these situations? And it always is going to kind of lean towards that really harsh enforcement, because that's the type of leaders that we have in the city. It's packed. You're all good. But yeah, because I already actually had an idea of how I was going to implement it. And then I went and looked it up, and I was like, oh, well, never mind, because this wouldn't be a thing in our city. It wouldn't be something that happened, sadly. So Nyx will just have to continue struggling and learning as she goes.
And being told half of the information, like.
But I mean, that's how everybody's learned. She's not getting any other treatment. I mean,
well,
even with a sire, it's not like you're just gonna sit there for hours and hours asking your sire 1,000 questions without them getting annoyed. Like, you're gonna learn this stuff over a period of time, not in 4 days.
100%.
So, even with a sire.
We're not talking a kung fu movie here, okay? Where you have a long bearded freaking white Asian guy teaching someone. It's kind of like that, actually, now that I think about it, because it doesn't tell you how to do it.
I feel like it also depends on the clan, because like if you are embraced or taken in by a Tremere, for example, you're going to have like pretty much like, little classes for Tremere things, like, so that you can learn how to use the magic, how to be a proactive like member of the family, Tremere family that took you in, and like know your place, know your power and stuff like that. But I don't think like all clans would do that.
Definitely not the Gangrel. They're more of a learn as you go. Let's just go do it.
I think it depends on the clan, and I also think it depends on the sire.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
You know,
100%. 100%.
there might be tons of
100%.
sires out there like, stop fucking asking me questions. You'll figure it out. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? They're there to guide you, but they're not like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, not every sire is going to be caring and patient and like, you know.
No, there are like sires that are evil that will like torture you
Mm-hmm.
before so that they break you before they turn you. So like it really depends like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it depends
on
on a lot of
where
things,
you
I
want to
think.
you want to take it as well. Like one of my characters that I made, like my Malkavian, like she was broken for years as a goal before she was turned into a kindred. And she was like literally like, oh, hi, Took.
It's here for his debut.
Kitty ascends his throne.
What you
Aw.
doing?
Hi, buddy.
Oh,
You're so cute.
little chunky chunks unit of chunk over there.
He's so fat.
Hi, unit.
I'm talking about you. Cute fella. But yeah, so I mean, even though she doesn't have a sire, it's like these things, she's not, realistically, it's been 4 fucking days. Like,
Yeah.
she's not going to learn everything there is to learn about vampires that have been around for centuries in 4
She's just
days.
very eager, you know? Like, so, like, I feel like she put a lot of pressure on, like, her learning everything because that's how she deals with things.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I mean,
so-
it makes sense, but yeah, I think it's funny because it's like she's not gonna learn this stuff right now, guys. Like, and it's okay that she doesn't know this stuff right now
yeah, for my
because
character,
she's
it's
4
not
days
okay.
old.
Obviously. For my character, she's not happy that nobody is, like, willing to be open and teach her, like, what she needs to know, you know? But,
Pretty
like, again,
Probably because in their minds, they're like,
she's gonna die
you
anyway.
literally have hundreds of years to learn this. It's been 4 fucking days. Chill.
Mhm.
Like,
Never!
like, you don't need to know how everything works right now. It's gonna be okay. So yeah, that's why I think a lot of people are having kind of that. Like, that's even how, like, Ashley reacted to her. Because
Yeah,
as
it's like,
the
no, but, like,
first thing
first,
she
let's
met,
go.
when she met Ashley, she's like asking her all these questions. And Ashley is like, bitch, I am not here to be your fucking mentor. Like, I am not
Yeah.
interested in whatever questions you
Yeah.
have. Like, there's
She's
a
literally
party
like,
happening.
No. We're gonna go introduce you to the people, and then maybe
We'll talk about that.
it. Never talked about it, by the way.
No.
So, you know.
Ashley's not interested in teaching. Ashley's probably thinking, bitch, if I wanted to fucking babysit you, I would have created you.
Gotten my own. Yeah. Hmm.
I think I haven't decided this, but I feel like I'm gonna decide it right now that Ashley probably doesn't have any childer. Because no.
She doesn't have the patience for it.
He doesn't have the patience.
She's like, bitch, please. I ain't dealing with that shit. I don't think she would have embraced anyone. She's too selfish and self-centered to do that. Good old Ashley. Everybody loves her, though. Not everybody. That's a definite. All of the Toreador love her. She jumps up and snuggles in between my back and the chair. Yeah, this is his favorite spot to lay when I don't have my hair done and I'm like just chilling, I usually like put my head back and he'll lay his head on me and go to sleep. On Dookie. Yeah, like that.
So cute.
But I have to go to work today and I need my hair to stay nice. Sorry. It's like instant purring. He purrs so loud. It's crazy. Anyway, so since we mentioned already NPCs and information that we learned, what is some Oh, Took, careful, you're falling. What is some information that you discovered about any of the NPCs in the last episode that you were excited to learn? I don't know, that you found interesting, whatever you wanna say. I don't know what adjective to use to describe your feelings. What did you enjoy learning about the different NPCs in the last episode?
That one's pretty easy for me. It's definitely going to be the Lev stuff,
Mm.
especially him opening up and having family.
Mm-hmm. Stop.
That surprised me, and I was like, "Oh,
I know. I love Lev. I already loved Lev before. I think I would agree with that. Like between the Lindsay and Catalina and Lev, I think like that whole like little like hints that we got during that meeting at the Elysium. I mean, I can't really choose because again, like it's all the informations that we've been kind of waiting for to kind of gather and know a little bit more, and we haven't had access to them. And then like that was like, bam, okay, Lindsay is the granddaughter of Catalina, bam, and now and like their relationship, like with one another, very interesting information. And then Lev is a gang girl. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Lev is a gang girl. How? Why? How did they meet? What is their story? Like, I want to know more about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I definitely have. I can't wait to know more about who created Lindsay. Then who the fuck is her mother or father? And where are they? Are they still there? We don't know. And like, why did she choose the grand girl? Where the fuck did she meet Lev?
right." I can't wait to explore his character more.
What
I want to
like
talk to him
relationship
more.
did they have?
All the questions. So many
Like,
questions. Yeah, no, I knew. I thought it was funny that you thought Lev was Ventru.
I thought he was a Ventru or a
Yeah.
Buha.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
what
he had either one of the two, but like he was like very composed all the time. He's just like a big burly guy. So it's like, man, maybe he's just like, a big ass fucking Ventru dude, but he's like all together, like he's composed and whatnot. And I don't know, I have this idea of gangrels, but again, like what I love about, having and playing with different people is that like you can take clans however you want. Like you don't need to follow the stereotype, like you can have, I mean, a little bit obviously because there are like stereotypical things that you do need to follow
Right.
regarding their clan and like their traditions and stuff like that. But at the same time, who tells you that like a gangrel can't be an urban gangrel that is totally like fine being like in a city and like, working actively with the Camarilla rather than like being, kind of on the sidelines, if not completely outsider and stuff. Like that makes
Exactly.
for a very interesting character, you know?
I.e. Lev.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, that's one thing that I love about Vampire the Masquerade. I've said this multiple times. Like when you're going through their rule book, or sorry, not their rule book. When you're going through the rules in the book, Arwen. Don't do that.
of
Honey.
course.
Don't do that. Don't touch it. She's holding it with both hands and looking at me.
Don't do what?
Oh my god, look how cute she's being, though. She's being so cute. I can't.
And then she's gonna
Anyway.
slowly drag her claws down and
Yeah.
be like, don't do what?
Arwen,
Oh,
cut it out.
this?
Oh, you mean this? You mean you don't want me to destroy it? Arwen, please. Stop it. Anyway. I'm gonna look in the actual book so that I can read specifically what they say. Arwen. Stop. I'm gonna throw something at her. Stop. I'm sorry. She's so cute. She's so afraid of it. She's running away. I threw an oven mitt at her. I don't know why there's an oven mitt on my desk. It's probably been there for a long time. Sorry, Duke. Another roller coaster. Okay. Hold on, buddy. Look at
Look at that the back foot like that.
It's okay. I'm not moving anymore. So it says the golden rule. This is the most important rule of all, and the only two. Okay, this is getting out of hand, brah. That's
like,
your
you rock
butt.
my throne, I rock your stream.
Get down. Get. Oh my god, he's so fat. My whole desk is shaking. Okay.
Kitty attack.
He was falling. It's okay. You're not in trouble, bud. Okay. The most important rule of all, and the only real world rule worth following, there are no rules. This game should be whatever you want it to be, whether that's a nearly diceless chronicle of in-character socialization or a long-running tactical campaign with each player controlling a small coterie of vampires. If the rules in this book interfere with your enjoyment of the game, change them. The world is far too big. No set of inflexible rules can possibly reflect it. Think of this book as a collection of guidelines, suggested but not mandatory, ways of capturing the world of darkness in the format of a game. You decide what works best in your game, and you may freely use, alter, abuse, or ignore these rules at your whim.
Yeah.
And when I read that, I was like,
that.
this is my world. This is my world now. You guys are just living in it. You know what I mean? And it's like...
Exactly. And that's what I love about, again, how they approach this tabletop game. Because, again, sure, you can do that with D&D too, but, like, it's a lot harder.
Yeah.
And, like, they don't necessarily lead with that. They're like, no, these are the rules that you have to follow.
Yeah.
Like, this is how we're going to play. This is your powers. This is how you level up. Like, in our Chronicle Fuck, like, we had to decide how many, like, points we would get.
Experience points, yeah.
Experience points, and that's completely up to whomever is doing the Chronicle and how they want to do it and implement the things. And same thing for, like, combat roles, like you were reading just now. It can be a completely diceless campaign. Just based off of like how we interact and we react to the world that Jenna is presenting to us.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't really matter. That's the beauty of Vampire. Like it's a guideline. You can take inspiration from it.
Exactly.
But you don't need to be to the T follow everything that is written on there.
Right. And obviously I tried to do a mix of both. You know, there's some characters that are super stereotypical, that's exactly how you expect them to be. Ashley Galeo. You know what I mean? Like, I have characters like that, but there's also characters that aren't how you expect them to be. But that's how the real world is. You know what I mean? There are people that exist in the real world that are exactly what you expect them to be and fit into those stereotypes right, just like they should and you expect, and then you have people that don't. So it's like that's just the world that I enjoy existing in as a human. I like the diversity of having predictable and unpredictable people in my life and having a mix of that. So wouldn't I reflect that in this world that we're creating? You know what I mean? So that's why there's characters like Lev who you wouldn't expect a gangrel to be all super nicely put together, wearing this nice suit all the time. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't necessarily expect that. Oh, yeah. I live on the other side of the world. So,
Yeah, and here it's still like daytime for another hour or so, I think, half an hour.
yeah, it's 10 a.m. for me. But yeah, so you guys are going to continuously see characters in our campaign that are going to pop up like that. You know what I mean? And I think that it's fun because it makes things feel unpredictable. It makes things like it being revealed that Lev is a gangrel. Like if I made him stereotypical to a gangrel, that wouldn't have been that exciting or that fun to reveal to you guys or shocking, right? Everybody would have just been like, oh well, yeah, duh. You know what I mean? But because he looks the way he does, carries himself the way that he does, and everything like that, you guys had a much different reaction. And obviously, I'm sure some of that is to, his influence from Lindsay, And like you said, what is him and Lindsay's relationship? What does that look like? Where did they meet? Like how in the world did she find him and work so hard? Because he touched on it and he said it took Lindsay months to get Catalina to agree to hire me. So not only it's not like they just like ran into each other and she's like, yeah, come work for me. Like there's obviously some history there. And what does that look like? And what's the significance behind it? Things like that. Those are all things that are exciting to reveal in moments like that where it's like you guys weren't expecting that at all. It was totally out of left field for you.
There was a lot of moments like that this episode.
Yeah, there were quite a few moments like that this episode.
Yeah. Need to use the restroom really fast.
Yeah, I live in Korea. I don't live in Seoul, but I do live in Korea. Come on, Took. Oops. Took, are you coming up here? Forgot what else I was gonna say. And another thing that it does when you decide to play characters that don't necessarily fit into the stereotypes of their clans, then it makes it more fun to reveal their stories and go through their backstory of how did they become the way that they are. You know what I mean? Like what changed them from how they used to be. Like we've already touched on that for Colette. We've already like touched into her backstory a little bit in her little speech that she gave that night, talking about how, when she came to the city and how she used to be and things like that. So as a Bruja, she has that, she's temperamental like Alejandro, and gets upset about some of the same things that he does, but she doesn't necessarily react the same way. So it gives you the freedoms to like create those stories, you know what I mean, and tell their story a little bit differently and have more layers to it than just being a stereotypical to that clan.
I mean, you gotta think of it like this too. Like Colette has been living in New Orleans a little bit, well, much longer than what Alejandro is, and Alejandro is like he literally pretty much went from an anarch city to doing this job and working in the Camarilla. So there is obviously gonna be two different reactions to things.
Yeah.
And I completely lost my way of thinking.
Hate when that happens.
I know, right?
You're like, I had a point, but
I was.
don't
But I
know
think it was
what it
just.
was.
I think it was just. I think it was just that, to be honest, because like she's kind of more used to not ignore it but suppress it. I guess it's the semi-right word.
Mm-hmm.
Like Alejandro is gonna speak his mind. He's like, "Oh, here we
True.
go again." Like, fuck's sake.
I think the biggest difference between Colette and Alejandro is not that Colette has learned how to, I'm sure she has learned how to suppress it in some ways and like kind of keep her thoughts to herself instead of being so vocal. So I do think that there is like a level of that it happens with her. But I think the biggest thing is she has more respect for the leaders of the city than Alejandro does. So her holding her tongue comes from a place of, I respect these people, so I'm not going to speak out against them because I respect them. But Alejandro hasn't been there long enough to gain that respect from them or for them. You know what I mean? Like, so he doesn't care. He's like, I'm going to speak my mind and I don't care. And it's not that Colette doesn't want to speak her mind or wouldn't speak her mind. It's just that, like I said, she has
A
more
little more
respect
self-control.
for these people. And it's because of things that she's gone through with these people.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's the history she has between these people for the last, because she's actually lived in New Orleans for about 30 years.
And that's as long as Alejandro has been.
Exactly.
You know,
So
and
she's
was
had a
pretty
lot
much
of
in
time to gain the relationships, you know what I mean? Like, just like she said in her speech that night, she was like, when I came to this city, I was expecting this city and these leaders to be like everywhere else that I had been, you know, and I wasn't expecting to find people that actually cared. And that's why they do the things that they do, is because they care. She's experienced that. She's lived through that. She's fought alongside these people. So she has that mutual love and respect for them. And that's where her initial abrasiveness that comes with being a bruja that can be there is kind of not there as much as with Alejandro, because she sees these people as family. So she's not going to speak out against their actions as freely as Alejandro would. Doesn't necessarily mean she agrees with them. You know what I mean? Like, that's not necessarily what that means, but she just respects them and respects the decisions that they make because she cares about them and she knows that they care about her. So there's a little bit of a different approach there because she's had more time that Alejandro hasn't had. But for her age, she would have had a ton of kids. Wait, who? Colette? Colette doesn't have any children.
So I
She
have a
is not
question,
a mama.
but we might want to save it for the end. Conspiracy theories.
I mean, we have what, 2 hours?
Yeah,
We got all the time in the world. We can talk about
What
whatever.
do you guys like? What are your conspiracy theories for what's coming, or what do you think's gonna happen, or anything like that?
I don't want to touch so much on that because I feel like I don't know if you listen to that clip, there's hints on the audio clip of what Alejandro is thinking right now.
Well, this can be outside a character. It doesn't have to be inside a character.
Yeah, this is totally outside character.
Uh,
And it doesn't have to be necessary. I mean, if it's something you want to reveal in character, just don't talk about that particular thing.
mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, a conspiracy when it comes to all the shit show that's been going on. The opportunities are endless.
Yeah.
Um,
I had touched it actually, like at the end of the session with you guys off stream, that I don't know if I think that my sire is involved with the purists cult the same way that my character has been thinking about it, or I as a player have been thinking about it as well, honestly.
mhm.
True.
um because again, it kind of in my conspiracy theorist theory is that Isaiah has was being followed by these purists. He brought them here, made me, and now the purists are here. So something that is my main conspiracy theory that is like floating my mind right now. Um so I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Isaiah has like a point of contact within this city as well. Um like the insider
True.
job
That's
that
true.
that has been mentioned during
Yeah,
the
Colette mentioned.
sessions.
Yep.
That could possibly be it too. Maybe he is working with somebody. And again,
Could
if
be.
he was followed with by the purists, like, just unloaded here. So, like this person in the city, this kindred in the city has problems, has this other contact from the outside that has been chased by these people. Like, what if,
Mm-hmm.
I have a bunch of
True.
theories in my mind, um, floating about. So yeah, that's my main one. What about you guys? Well, Jenna can't really
Yeah,
speak
Jenna
on
can't.
this.
But
Mm,
I've got
My
Like,
one.
theories are
I know.
storyline, so
Right. Mine's
careful
kind of.
what you guys say. You're giving me ideas. No, I'm
Oh,
just kidding.
I didn't even
Let
think
me
of that.
just make a note of that.
Well, mine is kind of a conspiracy theory because you said something similar before, and I picked up on it then, and you said something similar now. When me and Alejandro were arguing, and I was arguing for the Camarilla in law, and he was like all about not that. Jenna said, "Gonna make a mental note of that little comment."
mhm.
She did the same thing outside the car window, and we got fucked.
Yeah.
So,
I was really channeling my Jason Carl in that moment when he's like, I need to make a note, and everybody's like, wait.
Everybody's
as soon
I
as
mean,
you
I
said
think
that, I was like, "Oh shit!"
that argument. Oof.
It's the first time we've really had
Yeah,
tension.
I actually that surprised me a lot because I was like, okay, like sticking up for your clan, but your clan is doing something like against somebody else for no apparent reason, especially somebody that was liked, like a Prince Doran was liked. That was a consensus. Like like I saw it, like how the court reacted, how Catalina reacted, how even like somebody that could hate the old prince, like Sparta, like Steve's character,
There's a
like
lot
didn't.
of there's a lot of
There's a lot of love and respect for this
yeah.
kindred that died. And like I was like, what? Yeah, I was actually wondering about that too. I was like, why would he like defend somebody, especially a bruja that is trying to overthrow like a Camarilla city? Like for what?
Why?
Using werewolves, which like no vampire really likes. Unless like you're a crazy Sabbat that is like, okay, let's pair up with the evil werewolves, and fucking destroy the world because, you know, why the fuck not? But I mean, I was wondering about that too. That was very interesting moment.
Yeah, that whole bit, like, I mean, I'm not gonna speak as like storyteller. I'm speaking more so as Colette, of like Colette sitting there hearing the things that she was hearing. Also as a bruja. Like, she gets it. Like, Alejandro is proud to be a bruja. Like, we get it. You know, that is very clear and evident. But like, Colette was a little thrown off, and that's why I had her like react the way that she reacted, where she was just like, okay, like, I am listening to everything you are saying. And you know what I mean? It wasn't even necessarily me as storyteller making a note. It was more so Colette as a character making a note of what she was hearing, and how, you know, because you guys are a coterie, and if you can't trust each other, you're gonna have some problems. And with some of the stuff that Alejandro was saying was a little questionable. And it was like, how do I know if I can trust you if that's how your mind is thinking? You know what I mean? Like, this isn't screaming, I'm a reliable, trustable partner that is going to have your back in the middle of, you know, when shit hits the fan. And so it was some very interesting comments that he said that I was like, oh, wow, this is happening.
The comments, but that's the thing. Like, comments are, it can be, they can mean something, or they can mean something like, or was he just trying to like get under someone's skin?
Definitely worked.
It definitely worked.
Did you say you weren't or you were? I didn't hear you.
I mean, it could have been a chance of Alejandro just wanting to get into someone's skin.
Yeah, but we've already learned that leads to bad places. Considering the fact that the coterie got kicked out of an entire domain and banned from an entire domain because of Alejandro wanting to push buttons and challenge people. We've already learned that isn't necessarily the best approach to things in this particular city, and that there are consequences. And it's not just people reacting, it's, you're in my fucking backyard now. And if you don't like the view, well, there's two things we can do about that. You could not have a head to see the view, or you could get the fuck out and find a new view. So it's like, you know, we've already went down that before. And we've already explored those possibilities.
I mean, there's obviously things that are yet to be revealed.
Yeah, so Aslan's previous episodes, there was some, like, Alejandro is like that, like poking the bear with a stick to see what happens. He's very much like that, like that's his personality. And previously, in the first, I think it was probably the third episode, something like that.
Second.
The coterie got kicked out because the coterie was we originally had Ronaldo, who was a Tremere, and he was a part of the coterie, and that's where everybody was staying, was on his property. And that's kind of where the coterie had permission to hunt and, you know, be in that domain and everything like that. And because of comments that were made by Alejandro that were overheard by Colette and Ronaldo, the coterie was pretty much kicked out of that domain, and Ronaldo was removed from the coterie. So that, like, poking the bear with the stick is what we're, like, talking about. Is like, we've already had a big consequence because of that. So it's not to say that there won't be more consequences when those things happen. Also not to say that Alejandro is necessarily going to change his ways. You know what I mean? Like, he's still going to be Alejandro. But that also just means that there might be more consequences for those situations when they happen. And things that maybe shouldn't be said are said. Or things that shouldn't be said in certain people's company are said.
Yep.
So that's just like kind of... But it's fun because it's like, who knows what might come of that? You know what I mean? Like... It just adds more fun, in my opinion. For me, anyway. Just gives me more ways to make your lives difficult. And so the coterie was kicked out of the Tremere's domain, and they are now staying in Prince Catalina's domain. So it's kind of like, if you fuck up this time...
Off with their heads.
Catalina doesn't seem to be the type that gives too many chances. And she's already given this group quite a few. So...
We're definitely the black sheep of the city.
Very much. I would 100% agree with that. I think the only one in your group that is not the black sheep is Colette, because she's earned her fucking place in the city. She's like, I belong here.
But she's the babysitter to the black sheep.
Which leads
I
to
know,
the
right?
question to why so many chances. Exactly. Why are they getting so many chances?
I mean, that's something that could potentially be found out in character.
Yeah.
Definitely would be something that should be found out in character.
I mean, I'm not saying anything.
I ain't saying shit.
Right?
I
I am
saying
curious
shit
about that.
either.
I do have a conspiracy theory about something, but I'm not gonna. That's for you guys to find out. The only thing I can say is you will probably find it out on the next episode. I am not re-recording that shit.
I might find out if I ever get out of jail.
Vampire jail?
Yep.
Do they have bail for that? They have like bail bonds. Hello, sir.
Blood
I'm here
bond.
to
Bail bond?
I'm here to meet
Blood
with you
bonds.
about setting your bail. Follow me.
It's like, what favor can you do? Because it's all about favors in the vampire in the kindred society.
I know, right?
They don't give a
Yeah.
fuck about money. You think
No,
Catalina worries about
here's-
money? She's like, I fucking
You
own this
literally
city.
Look at somebody and be like, give me some money, thank you. Okay, bye.
I now, I want to own this
Forget.
building. This building is mine. Thank
They're
you.
like, oh yeah, sure.
Of course, anything.
This would be. This
Yeah, I
would be a
can't see them
total-
saying no to her.
This would be a total bail bond for Sparta. Kill Alejandro.
Beginning of
And
the
you're free to
next
go.
group, everyone's kind of huddled. Okay, I can do this. This is the favor. How many favors does that equal up to? I think we need like one more person.
Right.
They're just trying to like get as many people together. Be like, maybe if like we 10, maybe 12 people, I think that might do it. We'll see. We'll
Like
see.
owning their pretty much their lives
Gonna
to
go. Haggle favors.
Haggle favors to get Sparta out of jail. I love it. Oh, yeah, right. I don't think any of these vampires would be putting their life on the line for Sparta, sadly. Clyde
I
be
mean,
like, "That's fucking cute. I like living."
it's
I mean,
like, okay,
Sparta's
fine.
cool and all, but
He ain't that cool.
He still pushes some buttons, when it's not appropriate. So, I don't know.
when will we find
That
out
happened.
more about the fire weapons? Yeah, we already did that last session, I
Last
think.
episode. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they picked up the guns, and the guy, he didn't have a lot of information. He was like, "This is like out of my realm of knowledge." He didn't understand how. They more so didn't understand how the bullets worked. That was like the bigger mystery. The guns, like, they could kind of figure out like the mechanisms and things like that. It was like, how do these bullets stay charged is like what that they like was the big mystery to them.
Yeah, we need to find somebody that has like a laboratory that can test them in other different ways with other things that a gun person didn't have it.
Don't do it. Why are you
It's
wanting
like,
to jump on my desk today? You don't ever do that.
It's like, I found something new, Mom.
You want to play with this? You're like eyeballing this. Is this what you want? This is what you want.
Oh, yeah. So that is fun.
I can't give it to him because he'll eat it.
Oh, no. I know. Same thing.
Sadly, I would give it to him to play with. Ow! Okay. That was my finger. Is there something else you can play with?
Give it to me, Mom.
You'll eat it, honey. And then you'll die. You can't. Mommy will put it away. That's why he's eyeballing, because I'm playing with him. Here, you want to play with a bottle cap? You like that. You want this?
Fire bullets.
Maybe I'll go get it. What kind of bullets? Fire bullets. Yeah. So one thing that we didn't talk about that at all in this episode.
Yeah, because it's the purest apart from like, no, they didn't come up.
They didn't come up at all.
This part, it was like part one of the night, which was like the session prior.
Right. So our coterie they're kind of dealing with two threats right now. They're dealing with Isaiah Yernif and everything that's going on with him, which is Nyx's sire. And then
my daddy.
Yeah, her vampire daddy. And then we're dealing with a radical religious group called the Purist. And they have these really unique little anime weapons that shoot fire bullets that are like these little hockey pucks.
Incandescent bullets. Like they glow and they burn.
Yeah. And they're all different sizes, we've found. Our group has run into a bomb that exploded a bunch of them.
Like little pellets of that.
I bet they have a copy of not. Maybe.
They have a copy of them. That's what they did. They fucking found the book and they're like, oh shit.
It's all making sense.
That is not good. That is not good, Jenna. Don't take ideas here. Don't give me that. Aslan, what are you doing?
Give me more. Give me more.
Oh my god. Fuck.
I'm so good at this. Heck yeah. You can be my writing buddy. I'll be like, hey, remember that comment you made? Totally gonna turn that into a thing. Oh, by the way, I am going to have at some point in the campaign, because I told her that I was going to do this. I wish she was here. For Nea, I am going to make a vampire inspired by Nea, and she's literally just going to be this like thirsty, I can't say the other word, vampire that just like hits on everybody, and like I have a whole idea for her.
Oh boy.
Oh, I love it.
A Nea inspired vampire will make her debut at some point.
I love it.
We even like talked about like what she will look like and everything like that. So,
I love it.
which one? There's so many. Oh, you lost me for a second. All the thoughts.
A vampire thought.
No, you guys know the other one that I'm thinking, the other S word that I can't say because Twitch is. You can't say
Oh
words.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that word that was banned at the beginning of the year, guys.
Yeah. But anywho, so yeah, Anea inspired. What do you think of Sugar? Sugar would be a Toreador, and he would be like Ashley.
Yeah.
He would be
Definitely.
like Ashley's like
If
right hand man.
If Ashley maybe had a
Baby.
childer, it would be Sugar. It would literally.
Oh my god! I'm careful, guys. Don't give me fucking ideas.
Yeah.
This is
hey,
this is
like,
Ashley's one childer. It's like
it would
fucking
make so
Sugar.
much sense. And definitely Sugar would not live with his mama. He would have his own thing happening.
He'd have his own fucking
But
mansion.
maybe, like, that's why like everybody thinks that she has no childer.
Because he's not there. Careful, you guys.
Oh,
Careful.
dude, like, I don't care. Like, you should, you should have it over. I would die. Oh my god, that would be so fun.
If we do that, we have to tell him that he needs to be there for his debut.
Yes.
Definitely.
Like, Mom, I just came back and I got you some presents, and like
He like walks in with like armfuls.
No, 30 people just like walk in with bags.
You're right.
and
He
shit.
wouldn't hold the bags. They would. He'd have help.
He'd have like 10 goals like walking in with bags and like
Like
boxes and
models
shit.
that are like no t-shirt.
Oh yeah, of course, no t-shirt. They have like all like the.
Oh my god, I can totally
That would
see
be
it.
amazing.
Oh my god, that would be so fucking funny.
It's on there like they have like a this like little shirt that says "Sugar is my daddy."
Oh god.
Oh yep.
Guys, the ideas that are happening in my head right now.
Oh, I need to tell him. We need to make this happen. My God.
I think
Oh
it's
my
gonna happen.
Oh, fuck yeah. I am so happy right now. This is the best
this
news.
has to be a thing. Like, come on,
Oh my god.
chaotic
Yes.
energy. We gotta get it in there somehow, right?
Oh yes.
In walks Sugar.
So going to be a thing. It is. It is.
He's so over the top, so much so that Ashley is actually embarrassed by him.
That would be
No,
hilarious.
it's not even embarrassed. It's like the only moment where she gets
Outshined.
outshined by how much energy this fucking person has. That's why they can
Her
hang
own
out
child.
maybe for like a few nights,
That's
but then
it.
they have to go because if not, like the rivalry is too much. It's too overwhelming.
Just like,
for both of
listen,
them.
honey, I love you. You're
Go get a
amazing.
leave.
But this is my fucking city. Get out.
Yeah.
As I made you, I can destroy you. Let's not do that. Yes? Okay, cool. But thank you for the gifts. They were amazing.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, that's a thing now.
I am so happy about this.
And his name is going to be Sugar.
Oh,
Like,
no, it has
Yes,
to be Sugar.
has to
There's
be.
no way.
there is no way it
There's
can't.
no fucking way.
I literally wrote a note. Sugar as Ashley's childer.
The only one.
That's a thing I will be
Only
thinking
one.
about all
And
day.
probably also the reason why she never had a child thereafter.
Right.
She was like, this is bad. This is out of
Not happening
control.
again.
Poor Penelope's like, I can't live with this.
Oh my god, I love it. it so much. I
Too-
am
it's
in love with this
too
idea.
too fucking good not to do it. I love it.
That was beautiful.
Anyway, I'm glad that came about because that's gonna be brilliant. Let's answer another question. We have a couple more.
So I was well, one was what do you guys think about Isaiah at this point? But we kind of touched on that already. And then I had put a note for like the Lindsay reveals, but we already like talked about that too. Um I had put a little note. It's just a thing, like I guess like something that I'm kind of looking forward to seeing maybe if it happens, depending on how it goes. But as a player, like I kind of am excited to see like Lev and Sparta maybe like um building a relationship in a way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think again Sparta knew that there was even another gangrel in the city. So like I am just like excited to see how that is gonna go and like how Sparta is gonna take it, because like, you know, with all the history and the lore of the city itself, and like Spartacus backstory, which we don't know much about,
Mm-hmm.
but it's coming up little by little, especially because of this like thing related to the prince and the history of the gangrel in the city and the ex-prince and la di da. Like I'm excited a bit to see that. So maybe like what we're excited to see happening, that
Mm-hmm.
could be a question involved.
Yeah, what
So
is
that's
something we're
yeah,
excited to see possibly develop from
yeah,
going forward?
yeah.
Oh yeah, I think that so one thing that I actually wanted to talk to the group about that I'm thinking about doing, because as of right now we've like done consecutive days, but we don't necessarily have to do that.
No, we don't.
And I think that this next session is going to be the first time that we time hop a little.
Mhm.
And I think that there's going to be a few days in between last session and next session, just because I'll explain to you guys so that
Yeah.
it's not spoiled for everybody. But, so one thing that we can dive into, because another way to make it work for like, because right now Sparta's locked up and I don't want Steve just sitting there an entire session like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm locked up. I'm not doing anything. You know what I mean? So the only way for us to kind of get to a place where he might be released is to time hop.
Yeah.
So we can talk about what's happened over the last few days and maybe spend like this is my idea. You guys can give me some feedback. Maybe spend like the first hour doing little individual like blurts of kind of like flashbacks of what happened days before, and reenacting like just like, oh, this is what happened the other day kind of thing, and then hop into the actual session.
There is one thing we need to keep in mind though. The Toreador party that Nix was invited to, because that was happening
I
a
mean,
week.
I have to keep that in mind, but yes.
Now, that,
I think it was like what, like in a week. So like if there's something, the release of whatever, like it could happen maybe like the next night or something. I think it wasn't like a set. It's once a month, right? The
Yeah,
event.
it's once a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the actual day wasn't said, like it's this
Yeah.
day.
mhm.
But yeah, that's already on my list of things to do.
But I like that idea. I mean, I definitely want to flash back and talk to Lev because
Right.
Sparta definitely didn't know he was a gangrel.
Right. So it'll be like, what it'll be is it like maybe the first hour will just be like
What are you
conversation,
doing 3-4 nights?
right,
Like
between Lev and Sparta as they were locked up, and little things that may have happened locked up in those cells. And then also like, what was the coterie doing? And
Yeah.
just like little, not going into like a whole bunch of detail. Like we're not gonna try to fill 4 days or 3, because it's not gonna be that many days. I haven't decided how many days it's gonna be. I'll let you guys know. But we're not gonna try to fill up all of the time, because obviously we would just role play those days if we were gonna do that. But it would be like, just here's a little blurt of what happened, if there was anything important that happened. But I feel like for what would probably be the most important that happened was Sparta's time in the cells locked up and what was going on there, more so than what the coterie would have been up to. Especially because I have a plan on making it work to where the focus is going to be more on Sparta in that moment of like, what has Sparta been up to, because he's literally like been locked up. He can't feed. He's hungry. Several days are going by. He can't feed. Like, you know what I mean? What else are they doing to him? Are they torturing him? Like, we don't know what's going on inside there. So we can explore that, and then kind of speed things up to being possible release of him getting out. So I think we'll spend like the first little bit of the episode doing that. I think that that's a good way to do it.
I still think you guys should plan a heist.
Nope.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
I mean, let me make a phone call and see if I can get a few people, and we'll try.
Yeah, let's see if we have an Ocean's 11 team, but with Kindred, and then like maybe we can do it. But I don't think that's gonna.
Nah, I
Nah.
don't think so.
Like, we legit need somebody with Obfuscate 5 so that they can cloak everybody and like escape. Like, but we ain't got it. We ain't got like friendships with Malkavians, which could be helpful here with Obfuscate. And also, there's no Nosferatu, so.
Rip.
As
So
a
it'd be-
player, I know that there's no chance of us doing
Right.
anything. Like, the only Kindred like ability here that would work out is Obfuscate. In and out job, nobody's seeing anything.
Then what are you
And
gonna do
Obfuscate
once you're
doesn't
out?
even and Obfuscate doesn't even fucking work with cameras. So if it's camera, it's wired and stuff, unless you have like a specific level where like you do Obfuscate through cameras. I saw that there's like, when it branches out in certain levels, like you can't use that, but I don't know if you can do like the cloaking with that together. I don't know. I haven't looked Obfuscate because I don't have it in my clan discipline, even though Obfuscate is another fucking amazing, super useful discipline to have.
Right?
Indeed.
Yeah.
You guys would walk through the front door and get killed in 2 steps.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're here to pick up Sparta, and we'll be right out. Like,
So-
you won't even see us. It's totally fine.
Oh my god! Just knock on the door. Did someone order a pizza with extra sausage?
They're all like,
Yeah, this is the address, right?
yeah, they would be
No?
mad
No?
confused. Pizza guy's just standing there like, so the question was things that you're looking forward to. So what else are you guys looking forward to?
There are things in I guess it's going to be more reactions to see how things go down if certain things get uncovered.
I would say the tension between Alejandro and Sparta as well. Because that got pretty heated, and then right after he gets thrown in jail.
Yeah. I think I'm also interested to see what may come of the things with Colette and her like relationship with Alejandro after the things that he said in the car. Like, how is she going to react? And is it going to be something that she kind of reacts right away, or if it is it going to be something that like later down the line is revealed that like that wasn't cool, kind of thing? Because I haven't decided. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. She's a little preoccupied with like what's
Well, I
going
think
on.
like you can't really predict like reactions because you don't know what is
No.
gonna happen.
Exactly.
So like it's kind of impossible. It's like setting yourself up to drive yourself insane thinking about the
Yeah, they're.
possibilities. It's like when you're trying to plan out a conversation with somebody and then like it doesn't work because like you can prepare your script in your head how many times you want, but then when it happens, nothing is the same.
You talk
And
about
so like
everything
you're
but
like,
that.
well,
Listen, you're talking to a Virgo.
I get it. I understand.
I
I
know
understand.
all of those conversations have happened in my mind already. I'm prepared for any possibility.
But also not because
Exactly.
you know
Yes.
you never fucking know. Yeah, exactly.
That's what makes it so scary.
Yeah.
That's why
Oh.
Virgos avoid that whole thing as much as they can because they
The
can't
thing.
prepare for that shit. And we know it.
Ugh.
Uh,
But yeah, predicting stuff like that is just not gonna work because everyone has their like every players and storyteller has like things hidden that they're not gonna say that needs to be discovered
mhm.
within the campaign. Um, but there there are things that has been said. There are things that's gonna be done. There's thoughts. No, it's pretty much the best thing you can do is just swallow. And if you don't have time, we still have the VODs. VODs are sexy, kinda.
Did you say what you were looking forward to, Steve? I can't remember.
Yeah, the thing with Lev
Oh, right.
and the tension with Alejandro.
Alejandro. Right, right. I mean, there's lots of things that I'm looking forward to, but I also know lots of things that are coming, so
Yeah.
I can't necessarily talk about all of
Yeah.
the things that I'm excited about.
Yeah, I mean, again, my main one is I'm really excited to see like what I don't know, like I'm excited for Sparta, honestly. I'm like I was thinking about him and like, and being like alone here without like anybody from his clan. And gangrels like are kind of like family oriented, like they stick with each other. So I don't know, like I really want to see how that revelation like changes Sparta as a
Mhm.
character. It's like, oh shit, wait, like there is a way, no matter how difficult. Like, I mean, this guy is still here with me, right? Like it's not that he's, even though he's fucking Lindsay's like right hand, he's here, so it's not that great still to be a gangrel, but maybe,
Mhm.
you
There's
know
hope.
True.
there's hope. Yeah, so I don't know, like I thought that was super wholesome moment. Like I felt so good for Sparta. I was
Mhm.
like, okay, it's kind of
I
shitty,
might
the
have a
situation
buddy.
is shitty, but I mean, at least you have somebody else that maybe can teach you some stuff, or like that you can like develop like a relationship, and that there's somebody that you can relate in a completely different way, like that nobody from our coterie or anybody in the city like could relate to Sparta as.
Yeah.
So I thought that was super cute and wholesome. um
Yeah, Sparta's gonna definitely try to make Lev his buddy.
I could
That's just
see
his
Levin
personality.
Sparta Lev is a lot different than Sparta.
Oh yeah, no, that's why like he
So,
completely fooled me. I was like, yeah, no, he's no chance that he's like anything else than like a Vendru or a Bruja.
yeah. Yeah, Lev is a lot different. He's not your typical gangrel, that's for sure.
I'll have to win him
And
over with my friendly facade.
I think a lot of why he is the way that he is too would be because of Lindsay
Yeah.
and her influence. Because as you just the comments that he made, which we'll dive into revealing more about his backstory and his relationship with Lindsay and what that looks like and things like that. But like we don't know anything about him, and like who cares about him other than Lindsay? You know what I mean? Like what family does he have, if any?
Yeah.
And what does that look like? And, you know, as of right now, like obviously Lindsay cares about him. Otherwise, she wouldn't have fought so hard to have him on her team and have him in the position that he's in, because she, you know, she wouldn't have gone through all that trouble to do that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, he probably had to uphold such a like a high standard that like being like your stereotypical like gangrel would have not helped him
right.
in this situation. So it makes 100% sense that like he would try to not look like one
Mm-hmm.
or behave, you know.
Yeah.
And then after all that work, get brought down by some stinking racism.
Yeah, stinking vampire racism. That's some bullshit right there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's funny that
What?
you say that, because your immediate thought, oh, I thought he was a Ventru, is he's probably worked really hard making himself look and act like a Ventru,
Mm-hmm.
because he's trying to gain the respect in,
Yeah.
you know, so it makes perfect sense that he kind of is the way that he is. And it's really interesting to see somebody go through that trouble. Like, it's kind of like you have to, like, get rid of a part of who you are, you know? And why go through all of that trouble? You know, there's lots of questions that come from, like, that whole scenario. Why go through all that trouble? Why not just go to a different city where you're more welcome and, you know, things like that? You can be more of who you are. What's tying him to the city? Especially.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No. This is a completely different tangent. I'm gonna write it down.
Okay. I was gonna say, especially because he did mention in character that his family left the city, his like human family.
His wife and daughter.
Yeah, son.
Yeah, son.
But so it's like, why is he still here, kind of thing. Well, in any way, aren't gangrels hunted? No, they're not hunted. In New Orleans, they were back when Doran died, like originally died. They weren't hunted, but they were kind of like driven out of the city because of violence, and like people were like blaming things on them and like turning against them and things like that. But things have calmed down. Like, they're not hunted, but they're not necessarily welcome. They're not necessarily trusted in this area by these people.
And also gangrels, like you need to remember that even from like the 20th edition of vampires, like gangrels already had removed themselves from mainly all associations to any sect, really, because they didn't want to deal with the bullshit. So
They wanted to
just
do their
because
own
of
thing.
that, yeah, just because of that, they're not necessarily like super trusted. They were like asked to help because they're like tank damage dealers. So like obviously they can be very useful, but aside from like odd jobs and odd stuff like that, they never really like wanted to even be part of like the whole political side of things, like in the Camarilla or Sabah especially, and like, you know, stuff like that. So
Yeah,
um
exactly.
yeah.
So they're kind of outsiders,
Yeah.
not just in this city, but kind of as a whole.
The 20th edition is the one before this V5. It's the one that got released like at the beginning of the 2000 early 2000s. And that's the one that I played when I started playing it.
Okay, what was your tangent that was separate?
Oh yeah, no, because like I was thinking other things that you know, like I'm looking forward to, but like again, sometimes I get carried away way too far, so like I try not to think too much about it. But like I'm kind of excited to see, you know, once this whole fear, because I feel like for my character right now, it's like almost like one focus because
Mm-hmm.
she's trying to survive, right? She's fucking scared shitless that she's gonna do all of this and eventually die anyway. But I'm excited to see what is gonna happen afterwards, like after that is dealt with, like who is she gonna be?
Mm-hmm.
Because all her past life is done, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
So who is Nyx, you know, in as a kindred? Like she hasn't even started thinking about that. I, Fenicia, have started thinking about it, but at the same time I'm trying to not think about it too much because I'm like, I don't want to meta. I don't want to start thinking about, you know, like a possibility that I kind of vibe with and then like kind of push myself for that
Mm-hmm.
rather than just like letting it happen, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'm excited to see like what once all of this is done, because eventually, you know, this part of the story is gonna come to a closing in some way, shape, or form. You know, it's not gonna, this whole thing with Isaiah isn't necessarily gonna be dragged out forever, especially considering the fact that a blood
There's
hunt
a
has
blood
been
hunt?
issued for him. Like his time is limited. So once like that is done, then it's like, okay, what happens to Nyx after like he's eliminated or whatever ends up happening with him? And what does like her future look like? And the future of the coterie, you know?
True.
I'm excited to like get to a point where like the coterie isn't all necessarily at the safe house all of the time, like all kind of like huddled together. Cause like you guys haven't really had time. Like obviously you guys don't have places to go. Colette would be like the only one with an actual like house. But like starting to venture into like what is that gonna look like? Like eventually when Colette stops staying at the safe house with you guys, are you guys gonna stay at the safe house? Are you gonna get like a different place? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is Nyx gonna be like welcomed into the Toreadors and go and live with them? Like, there's so many like possibilities of like what is gonna happen and could happen that is like exciting to like see as the whole story unfolds over time.
Yeah.
And then it's like, then you can start incorporating all types of little side stories that of like things that are happening in their lives that you guys don't know are happening because you're not necessarily with them 24/7. You know, they're living their own lives as well as doing this stuff and working together. So that's something that is exciting.
So much more room for shenanigans.
Yeah, there's lots of rooms for lots of things. Because we won't be all together all the time. So it's
Yeah.
like there's all types of mysterious things that could happen. Excuse me. And
Mysterious things.
be revealed. Do we have any more questions?
You mentioned something that you wanted to tell us around the end of the podcast. I don't know how long you're staying. It's 7:30 p.m. here.
I'd say
We
probably
could start like a 20-minute later, another hour.
I'd
20
say yeah,
minutes.
30 minutes to an hour, depending on what else we have to talk about. That's why I was wondering if we had any more questions. Have we done our typical? See, we did shocking, favorite. We didn't talk about scared moments. We haven't done that one. That's one of our ones we usually talk about. What
I have it
moment scared
immediately.
us? Okay, you can start.
Like Catalina was like, okay, like this is gonna go to shit. Like I'm gonna fucking die right now because this bitch is gonna like break her. And I'm gonna get a reaction and I'm gonna do something and like goodbye Nyx, rip. It's a rip for me. And I am so happy. Like I didn't frenzy. Let's just say that because I was at 3 hunger, like
Yep.
it was just yeah, I was scared. Like I was like that was definitely scary. Scary.
I mean, it was supposed to be scary.
I was scared.
Kalina.
Finiche and Nyx were scared.
That's a pretty good moment to be afraid, I think, for you and your character. What about you, Steve?
That one was up there because I thought she was gonna frenzy too. That's why I was like, we need to get her fed so she's not just rolling the hunger dice on this shit. And then, sure enough, it
You
came
don't
up.
roll hunger dice for willpower.
Oh, you don't?
No.
See, I didn't
No,
know that. I
willpower
thought
you
you
don't.
did.
No,
No,
your hunger
willpower
dice
is the
don't
only
affect.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
I did
also-
roll the 3 and I got like 2 successes, no criticals, either 1 or 10s in the hunger die. And then I got another success on the other next 2 rolls and I was like, hallelujah. 3
Lucky.
successes. But literally if I had 1 less success, like I would have frenzy. Or she had 1.
The way
No.
that it works for because she was using dread gaze, and the way
Oh,
that
if you had another 10.
yeah.
Yeah.
If I would have had one more crit, then she would have had to roll willpower to see if she frenzied. Because it would have been too overwhelming for her. But because it wasn't a critical win, it was a win. So like the way that dread gaze works is failure for vampires, nothing happens. A win, what happens is like if you're in a combat situation, that vampire is like frozen, like they can't defend themselves and they can't attack you. So that's why she was just like frozen still.
Gotcha.
And then a crit win is the vampire has to roll a willpower to see if they have a fear frenzy and they just take off and bolt.
Skedaddle. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or try.
Kind of like what I went into when I touched the wall.
No, that was like a frenzy because of pain, a little different. But because you didn't try to run away, you weren't afraid of it. I guess you were afraid of it. You were afraid of it and you were feeling pain.
Excruciating pain.
But yeah, little different. But yeah, cuz she probably would have actually ran.
Left. Try to leave. Yeah.
Like that's your instinct.
The thing is that like the instinct is to run away as far from the object of fear as possible.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. It would be the same
I would have
thing.
tried to claw out my way out of like a sealed room, which would have been embarrassing.
Yeah.
To say the least.
In front of everyone.
I mean? In front of everybody, yeah.
So yeah, it would have been interesting. But yeah, that was her actual ability she was using. She wasn't just like being really intimidating. She was actually using an ability which is called dread gaze, which is they can look at you and just literally riddle you with fear. And on humans, it's like instant.
Immediate.
They can't resist it. A lot of vampires with that ability have a certain predator type that goes along with it, and they scare their prey and then feed on them.
Yeah, because of the adrenaline or something like that, right? Yeah.
Yep. So they scare the shit out of the little humans and make them run away, and they're like, haha, that's cute.
Be afraid.
So cute. Arr.
So yeah,
I bite you now.
they're a little bit scary. But anywho,
Yeah, that was scary as fuck.
Scary
What about you
moment.
guys?
That one, and then when the guard came up to me, I was like, oh fuck, this is where I die.
Rip.
we were just expecting to die. It's funny.
I was
Maybe.
at that point. I was like, I did press the button, but this is not going to end well.
That's fair. Another scary moment. What about for Alejandro? Were there any scary moments for him?
Hug. No square. Don't touch me there. This is my no square. Don't.
Stay out of my bubble.
Of course, that makes sense. Yes.
Affection.
True.
Okay.
Affection.
See, he would
But
be scared of affection.
He would.
It's also, but here, that's a funny thing because we say it very jokingly, and Alejandro's not don't touchy, but then think about his experiences and what did he say to Nyx? Don't get close to me, you'll end up dead.
Oh yeah, no, it makes absolute sense. Like it makes sense that he
So,
would
like,
be terrified of having somebody get attached. She'll hug you at a certain point. She'll hug Sparta as soon as she sees him. She'll just like
Probably.
fleet her ass over a Mack truck.
Mack truck hug him.
Mack
We both
truck
go
hugs
flying.
Sparta. We go flying together.
He takes 3 points of aggravated damage. No, I'm just kidding.
She was going so fast, she catches on fire. 3 aggro damage.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations.
You have been reunited, but you are almost dead.
Add that to the damage toll that he's already taken.
That's too funny. What a reunion.
So yeah, I think for Alejandro more than anything, it's not really fearing someone per se, but it's more fearing someone gets attached to him.
Yeah. That makes sense. I can see it. I can understand, excuse me, his fear of not wanting someone to get close to him.
Stay away.
Physically or emotionally. Well, are there any other questions or other things that you guys want to comment on? We said that there was lots we wanted to talk about, but I feel like we did that really fast.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of it is stuff that we can't really talk about it with each other.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like I feel
It's
like
true.
it's
Now that I
just-
was thinking about my questions, it's like, do I want to ask that?
Wait, do I
Like what?
want to talk about that part, or do I want to wait and see what happens in character?
Find out in the fiction.
Next
like
week
what?
on New Orleans Night Prophecies.
This is Days of Your Vampires.
Days of Your Unlife.
Well, I mean, for the first couple of days, it would be welcome to Who's Gonna Fuck Shit Up?
Welcome to What is Sparta Gonna Touch Next?
Welcome to what Nyx is going to ask next and to whom.
That's another good one. What mics do we use? I always forget the name of my mic. Hold on.
Mine is
I
a
use spot mic.
compressor, toner. No, I'm not
Compressor
gonna lick
toner.
it.
Lick it.
What?
You know how much cat hair is on this thing?
No, I'm
No.
not gonna do it.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. No, you.
I mean, technically, if you're the only one using it, then fucking sure. But like what?
mine is made by Auto Technica.
It looks like I think you have the AT2020. I got the
Sure.
Rode Pod mic.
Shit was expensive as fuck. Almost $300.
Is there a
Ooh.
blue light in the front,
No.
in the back?
Mine is, I have a like aux. Mine isn't like a USB mic. I have a
Yeah,
mixer.
it's a compressor mic, right?
It's like
have a
a
little
it's
block
like
to
a
connect it.
singing studio like
Oh, okay.
mic. Yeah.
Yeah.
He hasn't put anything strange in his mouth yet.
If he doesn't kill it, he will lick it.
Yet.
Yet.
But we all know the prison stories, right?
We'll see what happens down there in those cells in the next couple of days. Desperate times call for desperate measures, eh?
He's gonna come out with tattoos and be like, "I'm a changed man."
Everyone's like, "Wow, you've changed." Yeah.
Did
Oh
did
yeah,
you
I
drop
guess, like
soap?
you could always do some yummy reds. There's probably some yummy reds in there that you can like drain. It's not gonna give you much, but maybe like 10 or 15 of them like give you like maybe 1 blood point.
Just have a
You know,
pile of dead rats in the corner.
a la Louis from Interview with a Vampire. Oh, Louis, all I have to do is follow the trail of dead rats to find you. Classic. Classic.
Classic.
But I think we've actually covered everything apart from what Jenna wanted to talk about.
Yeah, my stuff doesn't
And-
necessarily have anything to do with the campaign.
Anything.
But this might be something to mention. Unlike most days, we normally do Saturdays, but this
Oh,
week
yeah.
is actually going to be on Friday and not
Friday night,
Saturday due
guys.
to
I
due
have
to
a commitment. I
arrangements.
have my middle sister is turning 30 this as a Saturday, so I am going to go and celebrate with her and my family. So it's going to be during the day. I'm going to come back, but I'm probably going to come back too late, so it's not worth for it to happen that day. And Friday is still a weekend, so
Yeah.
we can still all do it without having work interfering or other stuff as well. But yeah,
Yeah. So we'll be doing
it's
it
Friday at 6
Friday.
p.m. Same time, but the day before instead of Saturday.
Yes. Friday nights is when the
Friday,
fun will.
Friday, gotta get down on Friday.
No.
Looking
No.
forward to the weekend.
Oh no, Aslins, I'm the oldest.
I'm the baby. Gotta love me.
I'm the oldest as well.
Wait, what?
I'm the oldest, the opener of doors.
The opener
Okay,
of you.
this
You
is-
don't
this
sound
is-
at all
this-
bitter
this
about
is-
that.
This is the
The
question. Who's the
opener
oldest
of doors.
this group? Who's the oldest of this
Actually,
group?
I think.
Who's
Me,
the oldest of this group?
Oh,
I
I don't
think,
know.
yeah, I think it's
How old
Steve.
are you?
Yeah.
I'm 36.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually don't know how old you are, Mimsy.
31.
Oh,
We're
okay,
all in
so
our
it's like
30s.
literally, yeah, a 30
31,
room pillow.
32, 33, 36. Too bad you weren't 34. That would be pretty dope.
Right?
I mean,
I
you
wish I was
could be
34.
34, just, you know.
Yes,
I
I'm gonna
forget how old I am all the time. I'm like, how old am
same.
I?
I struggle with that like right after my birthday. That's the worst.
Yeah,
Like,
me
how old are
too.
you?
But like me, I'm 33. 33. Like when Jesus died. Yo. That's why I remembered. I started
I love how you describe your birthday.
I mean, it's true.
33, like
You know?
when Jesus died.
I could say so many things, but we are in stream and people might be religious, so I'm gonna try to respect that. But Jesus fucking Christ, I am.
My gosh, it is
Listen, that's the
hot
first
today.
thing I said. And Steve was there because like he was in my birthday stream, which I celebrate for a month pretty much because everybody was like wishing me happy birthday every fucking day up to my fucking birthday.
Pretty much.
I was raised a
But
Catholic. Yes.
me too. I was raised a Catholic. I went to like fucking YouTube mass on Sunday yesterday for Easter.
YouTube mass.
Yeah, YouTube
That's funny.
mass.
But I guess that's kind of like the way to go. But if your inheritance is as like
Sapphire one.
Fen is or mine is, we're heavy Catholics. At least our backgrounds are. I don't believe in that bullshit. I
Again,
just
you do you. My parents are very harmless with their religion, makes them happy. I'm like, hey, whatever.
yeah,
Makes
no,
you
right.
be a decent human being, you fucking do that. Cool.
Yeah.
As
Same with
long
my
as you're
mom.
not trying to, like again, sure, I'll sit for an hour watching like a mess. It's fine.
I mean,
don't
like
like I do it more for them because like it makes them happy than for me. Like
Right.
I'm there, like we're doing that. Like I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna throw a tantrum. I used to. Once like
no,
I
my
conquered
mom.
my, independence in that sense, I was like, how dare you not respect? But now I'm like, you know what? It's like 2 days a year. It's for Easter and for Christmas. Like I
Yeah.
can do it. It's 2
No,
hours of my life.
Yeah.
It
my
makes them
mom.
happy. Fuck it.
Respects the fact that I'm not really all into that thing. So she doesn't force me to watch mass, which is cool. Like she lets me do what I want to do.
That's good.
Um, but I have my feelings when it comes to the church, and when I was doing my confirmation, like at the age of 14, 15. I remember going to a youth camp, like a Bible camp type thing for that specific. And when it comes to vibes, you just can feel someone's vibes, right?
Hmm.
Sure enough, the bishop in this from this area was giving me a weird vibe. It was like, I don't want you anywhere close to me or anything like that. Fast forward 4 years. Newspaper. Bishop of this area found with inappropriate material.
Hmm.
And I'm looking at my mom like, I knew there was something fucked up with that dude. I did not go fucking close to him, and I was right.
Well, that's a really sensitive subject that we're not going to discuss on this
Yes.
Yeah.
stream.
Anyways,
Uh,
vampires, and
Yeah, vampires
So
and more
anyway.
vampires.
One thing that I wanted to discuss, the thing that I was going to sort of announce was, this is something that I've been kind of like thinking about, and like how can I start to do it. And I'm like a firm believer in speaking things, like manifesting things, speaking life into things. and it holds me accountable when I do that in my life. Like if I say I'm going to do something, then usually I follow through because that's the kind of person that I am. So writing has always been like a really big passion of mine. I've always wanted to pursue it in some type of way, but never really had the opportunity or like took it seriously. It was always just like something like, oh, that's just something you do for fun. Like you can't really like do that, you know? But like one thing that I'm learning, especially with doing this campaign, is like, well, wait a minute, like this is definitely something that you could do. Doesn't necessarily have to be like a whole career, like I've always kind of thought of it as. So one thing that I'm going to start exploring is writing one-shot campaigns. And eventually I want to start a Patreon where people can subscribe to the Patreon and get access to different one-shot campaigns, or even just like character creations, like creating characters with like whole backstories that they can just like take that character and implement it into their story and just shit like that. And I was like, this is totally doable. I actually am following somebody who does that. And I was like, I mean, this is something I could do myself and this could be really fun. And I'm really passionate about it and it's not hard. So that's one thing that I'm going to start doing. When all of it's going to come together, I haven't like given myself a timeline of like when I want it to happen. But it's something that I'm looking forward to in the future, especially because those of you who don't know, right now I live in South Korea and I work as an English teacher, but I do plan on moving home after my next contract. And I want to convert a minibus into a little house and live on the road and just have my cute little schooly bus as my house. And when you live that type of life, typically your work is just kind of like weird odds and ends. And it's like, this is something that I could potentially start building to help me set up to live the life that I want to live once I'm back in America.
I love it.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
So yeah, that's something that I just wanted to share. Like I said, speak life into it. It holds me accountable, and eventually it's something that we'll see along the line, and we'll start to hopefully grow. And
I mean,
yeah,
this sounds extremely interesting. It also sounds like I was thinking something last night when I was in bed. Well, this morning when I was in bed and just thinking, could you guys imagine doing a one-shot campaign at some point in the future in the same place?
like together, is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I would love to be able to do that one day.
Like,
That
I don't
would
know,
be
like
amazing.
rent, like get an Airbnb for like a weekend and then do a full-on one-shot campaign on stream.
That would be super dope.
That would be
so
awesome.
sick.
Yes.
And we
Sign
could all
me
wear
up.
costumes.
Yeah, no, I totally am down for that kind of stuff. Like, I'm excited to see because right now we're all doing this just because this is something that we're excited and passionate about, you know, as individuals and as a group. But I would love to see where it goes and what it can grow into and what can come next. Another thing that I think is going to be really interesting that I'm actually already working on that will happen at some point, probably for our YouTube channel, is a one-shot campaign that is built off of our main story, but is focused on other characters in our story.
Oh, that would be fun.
And it's going to be Colette is going to be the main character, and it's going to be from like 20 years ago and things that happened 20 years ago. But it's going to be our city, our characters, like not your characters, but like people in our city. And it's going to be like little blitz of history that we can act out in a one-shot campaign. So
I love that idea, and I remember us talking about it like
Yeah.
separately.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like, you had introduced the fact that, like, similarly to that, just doing a YouTube thing where we might play other worlds within the world of darkness that is still
Like
related,
werewolves.
like werewolves, because again, like, the story has this werewolf undertones to it already,
Mm-hmm.
so that you see also the perspective from that side as well, from that other species of magical creatures,
Exactly.
which is super dope. So, like, yeah, this is definitely like branching out to different things, and this is kind of what I wanted as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited for
Yeah. So it's gonna be
this
really
shit
fun.
to happen.
I've already started writing the Colette like one because it was an idea that I had as I was developing her as a character, and now that she's kind of like a main character in the group, and I was like, this would be really cool to discover the history or some history of the city. And I actually want to do a one shot for every main important NPC. So there'll be a Colette show, there'll be a Catalina show, a Lindsay show, and the Galeo sisters, and then there'll also be Imani and Cree. So
That would be
we'll have like one shot shows that are centered around those people and their lives throughout all the different history. So it'll explain history of our city and it'll explain that character in more detail. And those will just be like little one shots that are like one session, 6 hours, and it'll be like a little blurb of history from then. So yeah, that was an idea that I previous had. I was like, this would be really cool because
Love it.
there's only so much that I can reveal. You know what I mean? Like as a storyteller.
Mm-hmm.
And why not do it where we're actually like acting things out and somebody's playing different characters, you know?
that would be a
One
lot of fun.
disclaimer. One disclaimer, Aslins. Both me and Steve are very new to this whole world. So I don't
Like
think
6 months ago, I didn't know much about Vampire the Masquerade.
up until like 2 months ago, when Jenna sent me a pretty much when Jenna asked if I wanted to do this because she knew about the fact I did a lot of GTA RP,
Mm-hmm.
and she said, "Hey, you want to try this? I don't know, maybe,
Sure.
possibly, sure, let's try this."
So yeah, Steven, and Mimsy are all really new to this world.
Yeah, I'm the one that corrupted everybody because I
Yeah.
have been obsessed with Vampire the Masquerade since, yeah, for 20 years of my life. Like, I kind of like, I think the first time I was like 14, 15, like just started high school, and I started like playing online in like forum chat based communities. And then those like connected me to people in my city, and then I started having two groups. I started doing D&D on Sundays, and Saturdays was for, I did Vampire the Masquerade, I did some Cyberpunk, I did Werewolf the Apocalypse, I did Call of Cthulhu, which is something that I would love to do actually as a storyteller. But the system is a little complicated. I need to like read it. They have a new one. I have the two books actually. I bought them already. I have them. They're beautiful. Um, but I also did LARPing for Vampire for like 3 years. In Italy when I used to live there. So yeah, I was the one that did it before and that brought these guys in one by
She
I
one.
mean,
brought us to the dark side.
the other thing I got to
Yeah.
say, don't blame these cards for killing anyone, okay? I'll fucking send my Charizard on you. Maybe my Chonkachu. Yes, I'm 31 years old and I still collect Pokemon cards. Leave me alone.
It is what it is. You do whatever makes you happy, man.
Hell yeah.
You do you.
But yeah, so lots of exciting things. Some of them will be centered on our campaign that I want to focus on, but then others will just be writing fun, especially like I think at first I want to start because I had a really hard time as a new storyteller finding good one-shot campaigns to like do as like a test run. So I think that would be something really fun to like put out there for new storytellers, for new players. Like, here is a easy one-shot campaign. You don't have complex characters, you don't have a complex storyline. It's really easy to play out. So like putting those types of things out there for something that I'm really passionate about sounds like a lot of fun to me. So
Did actually have something to go along for the one shots. Like around the holidays, like maybe Halloween or Christmas, do like a little Halloween special
that
one
would be
shot because
fun.
I know they have like cute little quirky ones that are just self-contained.
Mm-hmm.
They could be pretty fun.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. I think that idea is something that we can easily implement, and that's a nice thing. That's why I wanted to get the YouTube up and going, because the YouTube can be where we do a lot of this other stuff. Like, it, you know what I mean? Like, where we plan a day, we're not live, we're not
Yeah, we're
doing
not live.
all of
We just
that.
like
We
record it and
record
put
it.
it up.
Right.
Mhm.
And it can be some like a special, be like, oh, hey, next week we have a special video coming out over on the YouTube that you can't watch here on Twitch. Go check it out. And it makes it something fun that we can do on the outside of streaming every week.
There's a lot of planning that's going on. There's a lot of things we're discussing as of right now. That's
Yeah.
gonna be happening at some point. Um, I think I mentioned on after our session, make introduction videos for our characters,
Mm-hmm.
for each character, and put down our YouTubes on our tubes. Which I'm kind of already working out how I'm gonna do. I'm gonna learn some video design things.
But yeah, lots of fun stuff. So if you haven't, I don't know what my command is. If you haven't followed the YouTube channel, or subscribed to the YouTube channel, go do that. I'm gonna be uploading the first session over there today. So I'll be
Hell yeah.
putting that on there, followed by the next session, or the podcast for that section. Sadly, our very first one where we did like the introduction podcast, I thought I saved it, but apparently I didn't. So, oops.
Done.
Oh.
That one's
I mean,
gone forever.
That I guess,
but
I
it's
guess,
fine.
In a way that's kind of okay, because that gives then the introductions to the characters make a little bit more sense now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
exactly.
like
Yeah.
hey,
Watch
So-
this. Watch this instead.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't think we have anything else that we should discuss. Just remember, our episode is going to be on Friday instead of Saturday,
Friday.
No,
but it'll
no.
be the same time, which is 6 p.m. Yes.
Pacific Standard Time. Yeah.
Which I'm
or 3 a.m. if you live in Europe, or 2 a.m. if you live in the UK, or
11 a.m. if
Think-
you live in Asia.
Or 10 p.m. No, 9 p.m. Eastern. 11 p.m. if you're in Brazil.
All different times. If you're
I'm
somewhere
glad
else in
my
the world,
mind's
you can
enough to
figure it out
fantasy.
yourself.
3 a.m. if you're in Italy. It's one over for the UK.
3
I'm
a.m. if
definitely
you're in
glad my
Africa.
time period is close to hers, so I don't have to try to figure all of that out.
Yeah, it's
That's been
pretty
a
easy.
That's been a bitch sometimes, like especially during the daylight savings time. Oh,
Oop. Memsy.
yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
you froze.
You froze for a second. You froze like this.
Alrighty, well, I think that we'll wrap it up there then.
We
Talked about
we
everything
could.
we're going to talk about this episode.
Yeah, I think we were gonna possibly watch the thing after stream if people want to join us.
Okay. Yeah, in
But you're gonna
Finn's
work,
Discord.
aren't you?
Yeah, I gotta go to work, so I won't be there. But
Mm.
I mean, you guys feel free to do whatever you want to do.
Well, I need to eat.
Yeah, I need to
I
eat
need
too.
to eat
So
too.
So
we'll
yeah.
talk about it in Discord. I don't
Yeah.
have a link to Finn's Discord, but if you're not there, then find it.
Yeah.
Get there. All right.
We can do it.
We'll
believe in
see
you.
you guys on Friday for
Friday.
our
Mhm.
next session, and we hope you guys have a good night or day or whatever it is for you. Okay. Bye, guys.
Goodbye.
adios.
Bye.